Rain poured hard against the cracked windows of Daniel's small apartment as he tucked his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, into bed. He whispered goodnight, kissed her forehead, and went back to the kitchen table where unpaid bills stared at him like enemies he couldn't defeat. The little 2-bedroom apartment he had managed to rent was crumbling, but it was home and he clung to it for Lily's sake. He worked double shifts as a mechanic, but money was still tight. So, he had made a hard decision: he would rent out the spare room. That night, as he locked up the shop where he worked, he noticed someone sitting outside on the curb, a young woman, maybe in her early 20s, soaked from the rain, hugging her knees to her chest. Her long brown hair clung to her face, and he could hear her muffled sobs. Normally, he might have walked past. He had his own problems, after all. But something about the way she was shivering, completely alone in the storm, stopped him. "Hey," he said carefully. "You okay?" The girl looked up with wide, red-rimmed eyes. She was pale, her clothes too thin for the weather. I don't have anywhere to go." Her voice cracked, filled with raw exhaustion. Daniel hesitated. He had a daughter at home. Inviting a stranger in wasn't smart. But his heart ached at the sight of her, someone so young, so lost. And besides, he needed a tenant. Maybe this was fate. "I've got a spare room," he said finally. "It's not much, but, if you want, you can stay. Just, nothing shady. My little girl lives with me." The girl blinked, stunned. Then, with a shaky nod, she whispered, "Thank you. My name's Emily." Emily moved in that night. She was quiet, almost too quiet, and clearly hiding something. She had no suitcase, no belongings, only a worn backpack with a few clothes inside. She never talked about her family or her past. All Daniel knew was that she was homeless and desperate. At first, Lily was shy around Emily. But soon, the little girl's natural warmth broke through. She'd sit on the couch with Emily, show her drawings, or ask her to braid her hair. Emily would smile faintly, as if those small moments were the first bits of light she'd seen in a long time. Daniel noticed how Emily often cried at night when she thought no one could hear. He wanted to ask her about it, but something in her eyes told him not to push. Instead, he gave her kindness in the small ways he could, offering hot meals, listening when she spoke, and giving her the dignity of privacy. Still, there were challenges. Rent was slow to come. Emily tried to pay her share but often came up short, leaving Daniel stressed. Sometimes he wondered if he'd made a mistake letting her in, but then he'd see how gently she cared for Lily, how she brought laughter into their home, and he knew it wasn't he. One night, after putting Lily to bed, Daniel found Emily sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a crumpled photograph in her hands. Her face was streaked with tears. "I should tell you the truth," she whispered. "I'm not who you think I am." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Emily swallowed hard. "My father is Richard Bennett. He is the CEO of Bennett Enterprises." Daniel nearly dropped the dish he was holding. "Richard Bennett, the billionaire businessman who dominated the news. You're his daughter?" She nodded miserably. "Yes. But he doesn't care about me." "Not really. After my mom died, he buried himself in work. We fought constantly. He wanted me to be perfect, to live by his rules. When I refused, he cut me off. I thought I could make it on my own, but I lost everything. Pride kept me from going back, so, here I am. Homeless. Broken. Her voice cracked, and she broke down sobbing. Daniel sat across from her, stunned. A millionaire's daughter living under his roof, sharing meals with his little girl. It sounded like a twisted fairytale. But looking at Emily, he didn't see a wealthy heiress. He saw a scared, hurting young woman who just needed someone to believe in her. "You're not broken," he said softly. "You're human. And you're welcome here as long as you need." Days turned into weeks. Emily began helping around the house, cooking, cleaning, even picking Lily up from school when Daniel worked late. Slowly, she found her confidence again. She even got a part-time job at a local cafe, insisting on contributing what little she could. But the challenges weren't over. One evening, Daniel's landlord showed up, demanding late rent. "If you can't pay by Friday, you're out," he barked, slamming the door behind him. Daniel's face fell. He had no idea how to come up with that much money in just a few days. Emily overheard the exchange and clenched her fists. For the first time, she felt the weight of the life she'd left behind, the wealth, the connections, the security she had taken for granted. She couldn't let Daniel and Lily lose their home. Not after everything they'd done for her. The next day, Emily swallowed her pride and went back to her father's office. Walking into the towering glass building felt like stepping into another world. She was trembling, but she demanded to see him. When Richard Bennett appeared, he looked both shocked and relieved. "Emily. I've been worried sick. Why didn't you come to me?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Because I didn't want your money. I wanted your love. But I can't let the man who saved me and his little girl end up homeless. If you ever cared about me, help them." Richard's hardened expression broke. For the first time in years, he truly listened. He hugged her tightly, promising to make things right. That Friday, Daniel came home to find the landlord gone, a receipt for months of rent already paid. Emily stood in the kitchen, her eyes glistening. "I talked to my father," she admitted. "He helped. But I told him this isn't about money, it's about being there for each other. And I want to be here for you and Lily, the way you've been here for me." Daniel didn't know what to say. Gratitude swelled in his chest, but more than that, admiration. Emily had faced her past and found her strength. Months later, Emily reconciled with her father, but she chose to keep living with Daniel and Lily, calling their little apartment her real home. Together, they built a family not defined by wealth or status, but by love, kindness, and second chances. And in the end, Emily learned the greatest truth: sometimes, the richest treasures aren't found in money or mansions, but in the hearts of those who take you in when you have nothing.